not saying a certain word cost him an audition for a role in Sinners. Plus, Nick Cannon admits he wouldn't want his daughters to date a man like him.
Plus, you won't believe why Hulk Hogan's daughter got left out of his will. And make sure you stick around for our favorite game.
Whose cousin is it? Welcome to Side Dish. Let's go.
Like first it was figured out like short, tall, long hair, short hair. What city is it? But I tell you one thing, here at Side Dish, we're more than an appetizer when it comes to pop culture and fun. Me and fam right here, we the whole meal.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be back in the studio with you, HK. I've been out in these streets and I need to be locked inside for a little while.
A little caged activity?
Yeah.
I used to always feel like, if there was a way where I can kind of go to jail, like check myself in.
Yeah.
Just so in case I ever do anything, I kind of accrue time.
Time spent.
Yeah, so sometimes within that, you have to sleep on the earlier side of the day because you're going to wild out during the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I heard there's in Japan, there's a jail that you can do that. They must have had my phone tapped because, most phones are made, in that direction.
Oh, by those cousins.
Samsung cousin.
By their kid cousins. Okay, moving on. Here we go. It's time for some Feed Me. It seems this older woman wasn't prepared for how she would react to her nose hairs waxed. And by the way, no grandmothers were hurt in the making of this video. We think. Oh. Oh, did she shoot her teeth out?
They was on the eject.
Yo, these dogs are driving me crazy.
What salon they at that got all them dogs?
What kind of...
You made my teeth across the room.
Veterinarian / hairdresser's office?
Go to the beauty shop kennel?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, they gotta stop making these hybrid businesses.
There's too many hybrid businesses. Have you ever gotten your nose hairs waxed?
No.
Me either.
But there has been situations where, I don't know, you ever just be chilling, and then, because your hair grows while you're just sitting around living life, being alive.
Grows. Yeah.
And it'll get to that point where, that was the second that that one hair in your nose and that one hair in the mustache decided to shake hands.
Oh, they linked up?
And meet, right?
Oh, okay.
And so one time, a couple times, I pulled it myself and it was I felt the pain without feeling her pain.
Why is it that pulling nose hairs, there's been times where I could tell I have a couple and I'll look around and nobody's around and I'll try to get a little 3 or 4 or 5 of them and I'll just try to pop them out all of a sudden, but then I begin crying.
Oh, yeah.
Why is it that nose hairs make you just cry?
I don't know. There's something about the nose, man. Even when if somebody socks you in your nose in the right way, sometimes it'll just make your eyes water. You ain't crying.
Yeah, I'm not crying.
Yeah, because we alive, we made.
But I'm just water's coming out of my eyes.
It's weird how that works. Women, shout out to y'all. Y'all go through a lot because that was Granny right there dealing with the nose hair situation. But y'all be doing self-inflicted torture when it seems like the answer would just be to get a bevel trimmer and just go for it yourself.
I don't know many men who are submitting themselves to the waxing treatment. And I know lots of women submit all kinds of areas of their body, sensitive areas, to waxing.
Yeah.
And I'm just burning, stickiness, ripping.
No, thank you.
All for us, really.
Yeah. Yep. Listen, only people really doing that is swimmers, and you said you don't know no men who's doing it, but some of the men's.
The men's. The
plural. The men.
Oh, the mans.
The men's.
The men's are doing it.
Shout out to
with
the
the men's
Z.
doing it.
Moving on, man. MGK revealed on the Pat McAfee show that he was supposed to audition for the movie Sinners, but this stopped him from doing it.
Sinners, I was supposed to be in that.
Which role?
No, the vampire. They had me set up to do the auditions. It's the vampire, the one that's in the house. So he's the second vampire, the one that the guy comes and he eats the family up. Yeah, but in the audition he has to say the N-word, and I just wouldn't do it.
Yes, from our conversations.
For sure.
Yeah, that was that's good. Hey, bring a world together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, appreciate that. That Django Unchained thing was pretty wild to watch.
Yeah, I like how my man on the left, the black dude, dapped him up. It's yeah, man, good choice.
Yeah. I don't have thoughts on this. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's the right call. Because every now and then, you'll see a movie where somebody you respect jumps completely out the window with words.
Yeah.
I can't front. Michael Rappaport and Higher Learning. It took mad years for us to even remotely slightly accept them, and not everybody did. And now most people are back in a space where they put Michael Rappaport back in the trash. Leonardo DiCaprio In Django, he was going crazy, and I rock with him. He didn't get under the same scrutiny as Michael Rappaport did because he's just that good of an actor.
Yeah.
But I usually appreciate when my actors don't say it. Yeah. I don't know. It looks like he's thinking it.
Yeah, it's interesting. What was it? I think Arlene was just mentioning earlier that Jamie Foxx and Samuel L. Jackson had to convince Leonardo to say it. I've never had an audition where I've had to say it, but I've definitely had auditions. I helped a friend of mine in the building I live in. She had to play some sort of like antebellum character, and her character's job was to say it. And it's one of those things, it feels awkward. I'm in there, I'm reading the other side of the script, you know, and I'm like, are you gonna let him inside with you? And then, you know, and she's like, I declare, here in the South, we operate a different way. And I'm like, oh no, here it comes. And I'm just like, what do you do?
Yeah, like I wonder if MGK even went to the interview or the audition rather, and whenever the N-word came up, he's like, that's right, N-words are not welcome here. Or ninjas, you know.
So I also have a slightly hard time buying MGK the actor. Like, I'd like to see him in something else before we just throw him into a period piece.
Okay, how many things have you seen him in?
None.
Okay, here's the thing. I didn't believe in him until I saw him in stuff.
Okay.
I feel like he was in a movie with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's kid, Almost Famous.
Well, he's not in Almost Famous.
I feel like maybe he wasn't.
MGK?
I think he might have been. Yo, he's been
Almost Famous is a classic. That's a James Cameron movie.
Okay, so he's been in like 4 or 5 movies.
Okay.
And every time I'm like, well, damn, MGK, you're better than I thought you were. Beyond the Lights is one of the ones. Bird Box.
He's in Bird Box?
Yeah, the one with
I saw Bird Box.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy Lee, played Tommy Lee. He's done a few things, and the thing is, like, I feel like there's nothing he can't do.
All right.
You know what I mean? And like when Eminem was like battling people randomly, MGK was like the only one who I feel like kind of low key got him. And like, yo, so like rapping, acting, doing rock, pop, this kid's doing it all.
There we go.
And he also has like a black child too, so you know, so he didn't.
Or at least a hat. Like.
Oh yeah. You know, they say like 3/4. You know, or not what? 3. No,
3/4. How did he do that?
Even a drop of blood. I think in situation
whole,
like all of a sudden,
That's
now it's tea. The water's tea.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. In this past season of Love and Marriage Huntsville's Maurice Scott and his stepson Jalen, they had an emotional conversation where Jalen brought up what he perceived as unequal treatment growing up. Check this out. Here it comes.
Loading, pinwheel.
Working it out.
Waiting for that Microsoft paperclip.
When me and him were both in the house, you would always come ask me to do stuff. And I'm sitting here like, your son's sitting right in there playing the video game just like I am. Like, I mean, I didn't really like that, you know, too much.
You parent each child differently. Did it work? And right now, it seems like it worked.
Did you feel difference in love? Like I love Monster more or differently
Well,
than you?
I mean, of course, he's your son. I'm not your actual son.
You're not?
No, I'm saying I am, but you would have more love for your actual flesh and blood.
Man, I couldn't even focus on the conversation good because the black dude looked like Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Like I was just leaning, because like sometimes you look serious and then you look unserious.
Yeah.
Being a stepchild is difficult. Being a step parent is also difficult.
And you've been a stepchild,
I've been a stepchild.
but you've never been a step parent.
Never been a step parent.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, you know, you got some step parents who will treat you a certain way based on how the relationship was with, you know, your mother and their parent. And like, I've never had a bad relationship with my stepdad. It just took me mad long to understand him because he just had a completely different style of like child rearing than I was used to. Like, you know, like I was a sneaky child, so I didn't get caught doing much.
Right.
And he's coming here with rules and stuff. Like, yeah, man, you need to be home by 10. But it's like, yo, my friends are not home at 10. And I'm the youngest out of my older friends. So I want to be doing what they're doing.
Right.
So it took a while to understand understand he was trying to protect me. You know what I mean? Because like when you're young and you ain't used to having rules, you don't understand it. But like I know some situations where like step parents really treat their kid like they from another country and they're a foreigner and like don't treat them nearly as well as they treat new children that they have with their new spouse.
Yeah, it's tricky just from even this short clip there. What was the father's name? Jason, is that right?
Well, yeah, I call him Jason in my, Statham. Yeah,
there we go.
Maurice.
Yeah, Statham. Faux Statham. Maurice. Just even in that clip right there, it's like there's ways of like listening to someone where you can take into account their emotional state at this exact moment. And just even in that short little clip there were parts of me that was like picking up little bits of like him like putting up some small walls like you didn't feel equal love, where it's like, no, at this point in time, like I'm also not sure you didn't show it, because if that's how you're gonna respond to this young man being very open and emotionally vulnerable with you, then there's a part of me that rolls back into my head and thinks like, you were worse when he was younger.
Probably.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
You know
because
what
I
I'm
think it
saying?
takes a lot of courage for someone to
Yeah.
open up to somebody who was their parent figure at some point. You know
And
what
what we're talking about here ultimately, and I mean, we've talked about this. I went to a lot of therapy over the last like year, and there's a huge difference. What I learned and what I pick up from little clips like this is there's a huge difference between intention and impact, right? And when we get into, let's say you and I are in an argument and you're like, you said this, and I didn't mean this, I meant this. Now we're arguing about what the intention was, right? My defense is on my intention. I intended this, but you're arguing about the impact it had on you. And that always falls on the shoulders of the person whose words are the thing that initiated it.
The first domino that fell.
The first domino. And so Maurice is the first domino. And so if I'm the first domino and the thing I did, my intention was this towards you, but the impact came on you differently, we can argue about that difference all day long, and we're just going to get more upset and dig our heels in.
Yeah.
And so it's upon the first domino to say, you know what? I see what impact it had on you, and I'm very sorry for that impact. I wish it didn't come off like that. I wish it came off like this. And so I am sorry for the impact that had on you. And that's not what I picked up from him there in that clip.
But that's a gem.
Right.
You know, for people who like don't know how to like resolve conflicts and only want to be in defense mode.
Right.
Because I have conversations a lot where I'd be like, hey man, I can't tell you how to feel about what I said.
Yeah.
All I could tell you is what I meant.
Right.
And if you felt a certain way about it, I am sorry.
There it is. That's what you're doing, yeah.
But that doesn't change how I feel. So that kind of puts us back at square one.
It's tricky. It can be a real tricky loop. The arguments over intent versus impact are like, you can wind up in a loop there real quick. And it sounded like that's where they were about to go. He's like, your son is sitting right there playing video games alongside me. And he's like, well, you parent differently, sir. That wasn't the right answer.
But the respect of sir, you know, there. So he still respected him at a high level. And shout out to Black Jeans, because without any like verbal context written down via producers, I would have thought they were brothers.
Could have been.
And that's brothers with an A. Maurice is 46 apparently, and how old is the son in that scenario?
That man looked in his late 20s.
Early 20s.
Early 20s, okay.
Come through, Cocoa Butter.
There we go.
Anyway, moving on. Could Nick Cannon possibly be on the road to changing his player ways? And do we have his daughters to thank? Let's take a look at this video right here.
Evan, you say that you used to be a player. What changed for you? What is it now? Is it age? Is it just experience?
I think it's a little bit of all of that, but definitely fatherhood more than anything. I mean, when you have 5 daughters and you're like, all right, I at least want to be able to be true and honest, but like I can't live the same life that I've always been living and, attempt to, right my wrongs in that sense of where like hopefully my daughters learn from my mistakes and not date people like their dad.
Parenthood does change a lot of people, indifferently depending on what you have. Most of the guys I know that have daughters move completely different than the guys I know that don't have daughters.
Sure.
And, and Nick has 12 kids in total, and his first in flight was a set of twins.
Yeah.
One was a daughter. That didn't instantly change him because there was a son to balance it out.
Yeah. I find it interesting. It's like, how many kids do we have to get to before he was like, maybe I'm moving wrong? How many? Now, once I got up to 5 daughters, was that 10 kids total?
It's so easy to lose count of the math and the tail of the tape.
Yeah, and here's the thing, is like, Nick's not unique in this. Like, Elon's got like 10 or 12 kids. There's like other people out there who have like this many kids. And so it's like, at a certain point, you just have to, to continue on that path and not ask yourself if that is negatively impacting the development of those children, boy or girls, would be like insane. To not eventually just try to ask yourself, like, is this too much?
I think sometimes people be so much in that rat race, doing what they doing, they don't realize things that are going on in the background, because you're just trying to keep the lights on, start this business, start the next business, make sure this is good and that's good. And, I think it just takes those slow moments for you to really start the process. You know what? I need to change, because this ain't working.
It's interesting, man, because it's like, this is the other thing I fall off sometimes on this, like, motivational or whatever, this other sorts of content. It's like, you know what no one's ever said on their deathbed? No one's ever been on their deathbed and been like, I wish I would have started that extra business. They're on their deathbed, and because everyone's the same. They always talk about, I wish I would have spent more time with my family. Yeah. And like, that's gonna weigh on him more the older he gets. Yeah, like, because he's gonna have less time.
It takes a mile marker in your life for you to realize that the real thing is time. Right. Money comes and goes. Yeah. Fun comes and goes. Time is the thing that every billionaire, millionaire, thousandaire, hundredaire wish they had more of when they on that final walk.
You think you can think back as far as you can on your own family tree, and however far back there, like whatever relative it was on either side of it, and like, do you know the most expensive thing they owned? No. No. You have no idea. But what you might know is that some uncle or some aunt or somebody was like, oh, they were a jerk, or they were so much fun. Uncle Bubby was so much fun. And that's the little memory you have. It's not like, oh, they had a really nice car. No one cares.
I think kids care.
Maybe,
like, oh yeah, well, Uncle Willie used to come around in the Cadillac, da-da-da-da-da.
Well, it probably made the kid feel a certain way while they were in the Cadillac. You know, it's like, it might not have.
Once you get older, start caring about other things, and you realize, oh yeah, is the time you spent with those people mattered more than the cool, nice things they had.
I would like a Big Brother type show where it's all of Nick Cannon's kids and just him in the house.
Ooh, that would. And I feel like that could propel him to the next level. Because we know all the other aspects of Nick Cannon. What we haven't really seen on full blast and big 4K display is how he operates as a father to everybody at once.
Right.
What do those Christmas mornings look like?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Are all the kids welcome at all the birthday parties?
I would hope so, surely.
Because something tells me Mariah ain't letting all them kids in.
Do you think there's any two kids who haven't met each other?
Mariah's two.
Not met any of the others, or there's going to be some
I would
that they haven't met?
imagine maybe and I'm just assuming. Right. I don't know.
Like they got a half sibling that they have not met.
Yeah, I feel like there's a protective layer on that first two.
Sure.
And maybe they haven't met the young, but also I'm on a spectator couch. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Shoot, like I ain't met all my dad came to town not too long ago, and then he started talking about his brother Chester, and I'm like, who's Chester? Like my whole entire, and then he mentioned two sisters he had, and I have never met these people. So it doesn't take much for there to be a divide in family dynamics to where like you will go your whole life and not meet certain people. So like, cause like I was depressed recently because I'm like, all my uncles are dead. And then I found out I have an uncle named Chester. Yeah. Like bonus uncle. It's like, it's like when you like play a game and you get to a point where you reach that thing where you get extended times. That's how I feel with an uncle. What's up, Chester?
All right, Uncle Chester.
Well, because his dad's name was Lester.
Oh, okay. There we go. All right, moving right on along. Bobby Brown was on the On That Note podcast, and when he was asked about his secret move he did back in the day to get ladies' attention, here's what he had to say.
When you would perform, you would either take off your drawers or slide your drawers to the side to let your junk hang. So whenever you would pump, it would give the flag sway. You know what I'm saying? Is that true?
That is absolutely true. I wouldn't wear drawers. It was part of my spiel, It's part of my,
It's part of the costume.
Yeah, it was,
it's
part
wardrobe.
of what I wanted the women to scream about,
right.
That was my time. Yeah, that was my time to get the.
Every little step he takes.
How did this become? I mean, was this? Do you think people analyzed years of footage, or was there like an interview where he said this one time?
I don't even know, but like if I was Sean Stockman, I wouldn't have been the one to bring it up. So yo, bro, tell me about them years.
Hey, I've been watching this clip here a whole lot, and I'm really curious. Wow.
There's certain things I would never know. I remember one time I was watching him, I think on like the Arsenio Hall show, and he was dancing so hard a bag of cocaine fell out.
Wow.
And he like spun around and picked it up. Like, dude was a smooth criminal, man.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what you do if you're a young heartthrob and you're trying to get as much attention and as much play as you can. Plus, it's the late 80s, early 90s. Come on.
Definitely a changing of the guard because when you look by comparison, right?
Yeah.
Bobby Brown was out here freeballing, and Larry Blackman from Cameo wore a codpiece to protect the world from his.
There you go.
I think he still wears it.
Oh.
You know Cameo, right?
Yeah, I know Cameo, but I've never seen the cod piece.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those things where, like, you can't miss it because it's, like, red. It's, like, red. He would always wear it, so it
Like
wasn't...
Superman underwear style?
It's just the piece. Yeah. We're going to show you a picture during the break.
All right. Yeah. Who doesn't love a cod piece? Okay. Well, after the break, did Hulk Hogan leave his daughter out of his will? Plus, Lala Anthony talks all about her sex scenes on screen. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Welcome back. Now, Hulk Hogan passed away in July, and while he might have some of his family in his will, his daughter, Brooke Hogan, is not. Now, Brooke stopped talking to both of her parents a few years back, and she actually asked to be removed from his will back in 2023 because she didn't trust the people around Hulk as his health deteriorated, and she didn't want to be involved in the legal battles that would happen after his passing.
Wow.
And that's crazy, man, because, like, you know, that dude's been making money for a long time, and at the time of his death, he was worth about $25 million.
You would think, I mean, I'm sure that's an estimated value, but I would think somebody who's been doing what Hulk's been doing since the early 80s, I would think he'd be worth many times more than that. But I also know that Brooke got estranged from both her father and her mother there for a few years.
It was an interesting family dynamic, and you don't even really see Nick pop up that much in the conversation of all things, because she's been very vocal.
Didn't he pass away?
No, I think he killed a person.
He killed a person?
Yeah, like it was
in
a car accident. Yeah,
okay.
and then somebody perished in that situation.
Yeah, that's it.
So I think he's just kind of been keeping a low profile after that. He did a little jail time over it. So,
okay, yeah.
You know, it's tough, but like, I mean, let's just say, if you had a relative that wasn't necessarily in the brightest button in the public eye, but, you know, that's your family member, and there was a potential for you to get left something in a will, would you ask yourself to be removed?
It's tricky. It's so tricky because I think what she's talking about, if I remember correctly, it's like, what was her mother's name? What was Linda? I remember Hulk and Linda got divorced, and that was a big spot of like contention, like for the whole family. And then they got to be friends a little bit, and then Hulk like remarried, and then he got divorced, and then he remarried again, and the girls kept getting younger, and it got to be like a little bit of an issue. And if I'm Brooke, I can see that becoming a thing that like creates a rift in the family. But then also like, I don't remember what got her estranged from her husband. And so like at a certain point, if other people, like, let's just be real, if the Hulkster was getting bad advice from a lot of bad actors, and these young women who are probably at this point only a handful of years older than Brooke are like trying to squeeze their way in on the Hogan estate, like I don't know that I want to get in on that legal battle, especially like Brooke Hogan. I mean, I don't know what she's doing. I know that she had some music out. I know she's like done other things. She had a reality show. I don't know what her net worth is, and if she's like exists in a space where she doesn't need any of that at all. But I totally understand the idea of like, yo, whatever would be coming my way, I don't want the headache associated with it.
Oh man, see, I'm on the other side of that pillow. I'm fighting all you hoes. If I was Brooke Hogan and Hulk was my dad, you know what I mean? All the things I had to do, I did them reality shows. And even the things I saw her post about her dad upon his passing, because I did hear initially that, you know, and sometimes people just put headlines just to make you click. Like, I don't want nothing to do with my dad and his death. Don't ask me. Everything she said was like glowing and very up. And I think sometimes death does change how you feel about people leading up to that. But at the end of the day, I would rather Brooke get that money than some chick that he only been married to for a couple years, you know?
Yeah, you would think that Brooke and Nick would pick up the lion's share of that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Word on the streets is Brooke Hogan is worth $4 million. And that's
that feels
not
low.
enough.
That feels low.
I mean, what's your favorite Brooke Hogan song to do at karaoke?
I can't listen. I got Nan Brooke Hogan songs.
Yeah, most people don't. If we had $1 million for anybody who had a Brooke Hogan song on their iPhone right now to come up here to where we're filming this show, we would be skeletons.
We'd be
sitting on the couch
a long time.
Yeah, we would be at the crossroads with Uncle Charles.
It's wild to get asked to be removed from a will. Like, you really gotta hate somebody.
Yeah, like, very personal. And I know, like, that stuff that happened with Bubba the Love Sponge and the wife, I know that probably created some separation. The Negro tapes, and I'm paraphrasing. Probably also created some distance because Brooke Hogan, she married, one of your cousins, but at one time, an ally.
That's right. That's right. She's probably still an ally.
Yeah, but she was an ally in the sheets and in the streets. And was dating like a regular looking dude. Like, I don't know how much wrestling you watch, but he looked like D'Lo Brown.
Really?
Yeah.
Not like big, not like...
Nah, look big on donuts.
She got the jeans. You know what I'm saying? She got them Hogan jeans.
Yeah. Like, Brooke Hogan has the hair that Hulk wish he had.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Shout out to the bandanas, man. He should have tied it to the front.
Whoa, not Hulk. Wow.
To try to win his back over in those
that would
last
have
2
been
years.
hilarious.
Tupac, brother.
Listen, brother. That's California love. All right, moving on. Actor Neil McDonough, you'll recognize his face if you don't recognize his name. He opened up about how Hollywood shut him out after he refused to film kissing scenes on an episode of Tim Green's Nothing Left Unsaid podcast. I'm going to summarize what he said. He said, when I couldn't do it and they couldn't understand it, Hollywood just completely turned on me. They wouldn't let me be a part of Scoundrels anymore. I lost everything you could possibly imagine, not just houses and material things, but your swagger, your cool, who you are, your identity, everything. My identity was an actor and a really good one. And once you don't have that identity, you're kind of lost in a tailspin. The convo went viral, and Neil and his wife went on TMZ, and they said this.
Hollywood, I don't like how people are saying, Hollywood turned its back on Neil. No, it didn't. The right people found Neil and put him in the right place, and we want to say thank you, Hollywood. Like, we want to continue doing incredible films with Neil, giving the right messages. We don't want to say Hollywood turned guided us to where we are is what Hollywood did. And we say, thank you, Hollywood. I mean, we've been together for 25 years and we cannot, yes, my name is Ruve. We cannot explain and express how blessed we are, how happy we are, and everything that's going on, talking about how Hollywood dissed Neil and whatnot or whatever was on. No, everything that's happened has brought us closer to where we are now. Every stepping stone has been the right stone. You know, some fumbles, some big leaps, whatever it is. But here we are, 25 years later, 5 kids, and so blessed.
First off, love that for them as a couple. What do you think? Do you think, I mean, it's weird to think that, like, first off, I'm not on the same page as him as, like, not willing to kiss someone on camera because you're married. But also, I support you. But at the same time, I don't think your career got derailed because of it.
Yeah, well, one, I think she beats him.
Oh.
Definitely think that he's afraid of her.
Yeah.
Allegedly. Yeah, I could see the fear in his eyes. His posture was off. It seemed like she was in control. He was the puppet. I'll do the talking for you. And there's a fine line between, and I understand, honoring the relationship that you're in.
Yeah.
The art of acting is the art of acting. And sometimes you got to do a bunch of things. Like, I mean, like, where are we going to draw the line? You going to kill a man on camera, but you ain't going to kiss a chick on camera?
Right.
And I don't know you for kissing people on camera. I know this guy from Mission Impossible, and I don't know which one.
Do you know how many roles involve not kissing someone? Probably most of them.
Yeah.
Probably most of them.
You could just avoid the Hallmark Channel and probably be good on not having to kiss nobody on tape.
Like, I'm sorry, Neil, I don't remember you as the star of a lot of rom-coms. You know, I remember you playing bad guys. You were really good at that.
And he didn't have to kiss any of his foes.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Like, sometimes, like, people's, like, podcast conversations take a life of their own and just run wild, like Hulkamania.
Microphones got real cheap over the last years. I did have a situation where, this is years ago, this is, good Lord, maybe 14 years ago. I told, my manager hit me up, she's like, have this audition for this movie, and I read the script of the movie, and it was for like a good role. It was gonna be like an indie movie, but it had a budget, it was gonna everything. It was like on the up and up, but like looking at the details of the role, I was just like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think that this is something that I can fully commit to. I think that there's gonna be someone out there who this is perfect for them. And I told this to her. And she was like, just go out for the audition anyhow. Just go out for the audition, take the audition, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay, you know what, you're right. I'll take the audition, I'll meet this person, I'll do the thing. So I do the thing, and sure enough, they come around and they're like, we'd like for you to be this role. And I get on the phone with her and I'm like, I told you, like, I can't take this. I don't feel like this is right for me. It's not something that I feel like I can just fully, like, throw myself at. And then she was like, okay, all right, well, I'll tell so-and-so they're gonna be really disappointed. They're probably never gonna wanna work with you ever again, blah, 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 blah. And then after she made that call, she called me back to drop me as a client. And then she told me that I was not, quote, and she used the full verbiage, that I'm not Johnny effing Depp. And so the lesson of that is that I still went on to continue to do other things. And so a lot of times people throw around the word Hollywood like it's 10 people in a room.
Yeah.
It's thousands of people. And so just because he's not doing one kind of thing doesn't mean the other thousands of people are like, oh, we're not gonna work with Neil McDonough again.
Yeah, you just gotta move around. Just real quick, just for my personal curiosity, was it Leonardo DiCaprio's part in Django? Because if so, thank you for turning it down.
No, it wasn't that. It was sort of like, let's just say it's like 50 Shades of Hay. It was like one of those kind of movies, and I was just, I don't think I can do this.
You know, you gotta do things that are at your comfort level. Whatever that may be.
I've never had an audition where I've had to roll in hard with a slur. And I'm very happy about that because I have blonde hair and blue eyes, and I look like the kind of person who, like, you're like, all right, who's willing to say all the things? Let's get that guy. Hey, you gonna say all the things? And I'm like, I'd rather not. You want to say? No, I don't want to. Say the few things. I'm like, nah, I don't want to say that.
Sometimes everything's are a test, and you don't even know it in real time. And my brother, you passed. Bro. All right, man, so Lala Anthony sat down with Speedy Norman and discussed the criticisms she's received for always having a sex scene when she's on a show.
I don't know, you just kind of do it, but it never gets to the point where you're coming in work and you're like, oh, I'm doing a sex scene today. This is great. This is easy. Like, no, it's never like that.
I will say this. I think that in a lot of your shows, it's like we've seen like intimate scenes.
Well, the thing is that, and people do say that. So here's what I say about that. In a lot of the shows I've been on, my character has been in relationships with various people. So when you're in a relationship with someone, you usually have sex with that person. So when they're like, oh, she's on these shows and she's doing these sex scenes, well, most of the shows I'm in a relationship with someone. So at some point, there's gonna be a sex scene. Like, that's just how it goes. And I'm on cable. I'm not like, I'm on premium cable where they want sex scenes. They want, you know, they want that for viewership or ratings or whatever it is. So it's like when I hear that, I'm just kind of like, so these people in a relationship, but they just never have sex. Like, it's not realistic.
Yeah.
And I'm not the writers either. Like, if that's what they're writing and they're like, you got to do this.
She's the opposite of Neil McDonough.
The polar opposite. And to you,
we thank you.
Thank you, Lala. We here at Side Dish salute you.
Honey Nut Cheerios, baby.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's like she's in adult shows made for adults to enjoy, like she said, on premium cable. And that's what happened. This isn't, what was it? The Dick Van Dyke Show where they stayed in 2 separate beds?
Oh, yeah, they also did that on I Love Lucy. And
there we go,
and somehow she got pregnant still.
Yeah, somehow she still got pregnant.
When you want it, you're going to get it.
Hey, Lucy.
The crazy thing is, like, too, like, when you think about, like, a lot of the shows she do, they're all produced kind of, like, loosely by 50 Cent. And so maybe 50 Cent really just be want to see a nigga.
Oh, that's interesting.
Some people said in the chat said she should take acting classes so she can get better roles. And
wow.
Y'all are foul. Y'all are foul.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's wild talk right there. She's a good actress.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the other thing. It's like if you're looking for a character, if you're looking for an actress and you need her to play a certain kind of role, and you look at somebody's resume and they've done certain things a number of times, you go, I know that they can do it and they can do it at a high level. Let's just hire her.
Yeah, no, Lala would do a nude scene on the 700 Club. Like, it don't matter. Like,
wow.
yo, they always like, yo, getting her to bear it all. But she looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah. We here for it.
Absolutely.
You should be concerned when people ask you to not do it.
It's tricky because there's like, I feel like the whole sex scene thing, unfortunately for women, there's like damned if you do and damned if you don't. Because like, if you're too young and you get into that sort of role or that sort of caricature or that archetype, then they don't want you for anything else. And that's where they try to, and there are actresses that very quickly, they think, oh, if I like have my shirt off and I'm in this scene, it'll get me this role in this movie. And that's true, but then sometimes you get typecast as that. And they don't want to do that forever. And you know, and then,
It took Halle Berry, like, you know, showing us, you know, Tia and Tamara and Swordfish to get the Oscar. Well, no, actually it wasn't even Swordfish, it was Monsters Ball. She had to go full Monty. But
but some women save it until there's a really good script, and they're like, all right, finally.
All right, now we're going to throw those weapons of mass distraction out. Well, listen, man, we got to run the break. We're going to see y'all in 2 minutes. But meantime, in the comments, drop a comment on which actors and actresses you wish would do more nude scenes.
Ooh.
We'll see you in 2.
Welcome back. All right, so an older gentleman stopped by Mo's Barbershop with an interesting hairstyle request before going to a Drake concert. Check this out.
No, Mo. What? I want braids like Drake.
Oh, you want a braid like Drake?
Yeah, braids like Drake. I'm going to a show. Yeah, going to see the show.
Show?
Yeah.
Oh, my dear. What's this?
Yeah, Mo, do your magic.
Do your magic.
Okay, I do my best, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, boy.
Not the Friar Tuck.
What are we doing? Yep. What is... What are we...
Okay. He's giving him some baby hairs in the front and back.
No. What are we doing? What in the world? What's happening here?
Oh. Extensions? Okay.
Is he giving this man, is he putting braids in his hair?
He is.
He's giving this man a wig?
He's giving him some extensions just so we can have enough hair to like latch to. Yeah, if he would have went with like just like the whole gray situation, that would have been really dope.
I am so...
oh, wow.
What? Sir.
Oh, Mo, love it, mate. You've done a great...
Love it, mate.
I want to know where he work at.
Wow.
Not the barber, but that man.
Yeah. Did he walk in there on Monday like that?
I hope so. So, of course, we had to run to the comments. One person said, sometimes you just got to tell people no. Someone else said, had him looking like the mayor of Whoville for a second.
Oh, yeah, those Seuss characters always got that gray hair wild. Another person said, the way I laughed when he parted the hair. And another said, does he know that braids need to be attached to actual hair? Other people actually loved how it looks, though. One person said, amazing job, but I just don't know if it suits him. Yeah.
I mean, yo, man, like, not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah.
Sometimes some of the heroes put the capes on the front of their client before they cut their hair. And I didn't think he was going to be able to pull off this minor miracle, but, you know, it looks semi-believable. It looked like he managed to open an act for the tour.
Yeah. Yeah, our producer Eileen wants everyone to know that if that man, if he had gray braids, she'd be all about it.
So, like, you know, to anybody in the chat, if this man approached you at a concert, you know what I mean, like with this swag, you know, are you gonna have drinks with him after, or is this like hell no pops?
But I just don't know, like, white dudes, I don't think white dudes are taken seriously with braids like this. You know?
That is an accurate assessment.
Right? Okay.
Very accurate assessment.
Like Willie Nelson braids, that's a little different.
It's because like the way Willie Nelson wear his braids, it looked like he's paying homage to like the Native Americans.
Sure, yeah.
When I see a white dude with cornrows, I just feel like they're from Little Rock.
Yeah.
Or grew up, you know, watching, like the only channel you had was BET.
Yeah. Okay, wait, now you had braids. You had long...
They were dreads.
You had long dreads.
Yeah.
If you could have any hairstyle, what would you have?
I would go for, and I know this is kind of played out, but I like what Killmonger had in the first Black Panther.
Yeah?
Like that little half dread, like with the little like mini fro thing. I thought that was dope, and I was mad at myself because I cut my dreads a couple years before that popped off.
Yeah, you were so close.
Yeah, now the top don't want to cooperate like it used to. And
Did you keep your dreads?
I do. I still have them. They're in a Ziploc bag, and I rock them. And what I do sometimes, every now and then, when I need to like point out that it was a certain period of time, I'll put a hat on and I'll just tuck the dreads on the side and just let them hang. So yeah, so back in 2017, and then like, you know, like
that's hilarious.
If you could go back in time and rock any classic hairstyle, what was your favorite one?
Man, I don't know. Like, there's not as much, you know, as you can do with just straight hair.
That's crazy, because like when I look at y'all, I feel like y'all be having all the styles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, like I don't know, if I could, I could do like a mullet, like I feel like I could commit to a full mullet, or it's like, at one point I'd grown it out kind of long, but it was like, I don't know.
Would you ever do like a Phil Spector?
Oh, I don't know if I curl it out, puff it out.
Like when he's on trial.
Ooh, wow, get a bob? I don't know. Does the chat think I'd look good with a bob? I could see myself growing my hair out Viking style again one of these days.
Viking style,
just like beard and then long hair.
Okay.
Like a Thor look?
Okay, so when people got the Viking beard and then the braid, I don't know, I respect it a little bit more.
Oh, Viking beard and braids.
Yeah, like you from Norse.
Okay.
If you from North, like where are you from? Probably Norway, right?
Norway, the Nordic countries.
I haven't looked at a map all summer.
Yeah.
Man, if you could pick his favorite Drake song, what do you think it was?
Oh my gosh. That man listens to Hotline Bling. He's out here hitting the...
Well, anyway, look, imagine being born yesterday, right? But technically you're in your 30s. I'll explain. So a couple in Ohio, Lindsay and Tim Pierce, just gave birth to the world's oldest baby born from an embryo that was frozen over 30 years ago.
Wow.
Now, the adopted embryo was successfully transferred to the mother via in vitro fertilization back in 1994. And just like that, a middle-aged baby boy named Thaddeus is here.
Wow, a middle-aged baby boy. Evidently, the doctors say that the age of a frozen embryo doesn't matter as long as they're frozen and thawed out properly and then covered in a nice, butter sauce as you pan warm them to
I have all the questions, so many. Because this technology is pretty new, right?
Well, I mean, if the kid was frozen in the 90s.
Right. I mean, but we froze it in the 90s, but have we done the lifeline or the lifespan of one of these like embryos from back in that time?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know,
even though you froze it to try to preserve the time and the age, what if this man died at 27? Because you've been frozen for 30 years.
Yeah.
But your frozen cells are now 57 now that you're 27.
It's hard. It's so interesting. I also what the thing was is like, did they say they adopted this embryo? So like, did this embryo belong to two parents who they just died? Was this like, what was going to happen to this? Wait, there we go.
Okay.
Yay! It's transfer day.
So sometimes it could be a woman who froze the embryos and couldn't make the payment, so they kind of like. It's kind of like Storage Wars, but for embryos.
Yo,
that's
embryo
wild.
Storage Wars? Wow.
What baffles me though, right? And shout out to the people, I mean, because this is low-key like an adoption, right?
Yeah.
But you have to pay for this embryo. You can't just be like, yo, let me get that vintage embryo from the back. Out of all the kids that are in like adoption homes, people who have been left without parents, abandoned babies, why do you get the science project as opposed to an actual living human?
Like you speak no lies.
Like this is the most difficult route to go.
We got babies looking for homes, and you wanted to bring something out of the freezer.
Literally. Because I question this all the time, not in the same space as this, but like, let's just say if you put a chuck roast in the freezer and you dropped it in there in May, and here you are pulling it out today, let it thaw out. Is it as good as if like it would have been if you would have ate it in May when you bought it? Or when it thaws out, does it age rapidly once you put it out?
I don't know. Yeah. Evidently, embryos can be stored indefinitely. Like a hot dog.
What about that roast, though?
Yeah, that roast. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we got more side dish in 2 minutes. Welcome back. All right, y'all. An Argentinian man told Google to pay up after the street cam caught him basking in his birthday suit in his own backyard.
What?
The man, a former cop, said he was behind a 6.5-foot wall when his bare behind was captured on camera and broadcasted on Argentine TV.
Now, the court dismissed his original claim for damages, blaming him for walking around in inappropriate conditions in the garden of his home. But appeals judges ruled that the man's dignity and privacy was violated and awarded him $12,500.
If you're gonna try to tell me that I can't walk around nude in my own home, we got an issue.
Yeah, like if that thing is high up enough to look over my personal fence, where like I could be having one of those you having grotto parties for, you know, you invaded my space, man. I can't believe that it was only $12,500.
Yeah, right?
Coughed up.
On Google, on TV?
They probably also gave him like a 3-month subscription for Field 3.
Yeah.
You know, because that's
he has
expensive.
some iCloud storage for
Yeah,
it.
yeah, lifetime
Storage.
iCloud storage and unlimited email space.
It is weird because they're like, I do, you know, if you ever fool around on Google Streets very much, like invariably you come across people and they like blur their faces out. And I'm just like, I saw this thing one time that was like, oh, you could watch this couple, and Google Streets had driven by the same street so many times, and the couple was always sitting out on the same bench every year after year after year. And then after so many years, there's only one of them left. Oh. And it was kind of sad. And then a few years after that, they were gone and the bench was gone. And I'm like, dang.
That should be the sequel to Up.
Yeah.
Yo, the crazy thing, I saw a story where somebody got caught cheating because the Google Streets car was driving to a block and his car was in front of his mistress' crib. And that was the evidence that the wife needed to blow my man's spot up. So yeah, Google out here ruining lives and also helping us navigate the streets better. Which one is more valuable?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Which one's more valuable? Also, shame on y'all for trying to find that Argentinian man's behind on Google. Like, which one of y'all? Leave him alone.
Because you think he discovered himself? Or somebody was like...
Somebody had to tell him.
So, yo,
somebody had to be like, yo, HK, I hate to break it to you, but I think your behind is on Google.
Oh, yeah, I'm easy to find on Google. Yeah. Nah, literally.
Oh, his coworkers got to him.
Yo, why is coworkers looking at his house?
That's a little creepy.
Very.
That's a little creepy.
Very, very, very. Man, have you ever like seen anything crazy on a Google Street View, like just by looking around?
No. I remember, like, I'm trying to think. At one point, there were these websites where there were like all the crazy things on Google Street View that you could find, and one of them was like a sunken airplane, and one of them was like a car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's wild.
I would look that up during the break.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff you can find on Google Streets around the entire world, for sure.
It seems like you know, before we knew what Google Streets was, it just seemed like if you just say Google Streets, it just seemed like it's like the urban version of Google.
Oh, Google Streets.
It's like, yo, it's Google but extreme.
Yeah. Google. I'm not gonna. What do you put in on a Google Streets search?
You want to know where to buy a gun cheap? Log on to Google Streets.
Oh my God.
Hey man, we gotta go to break, but when we come back, we hitting y'all with everybody's favorite game.
Whose cousin is it?
Welcome back. It's time for everyone's favorite game. Whose cousin is it? Who did it, man or woman? Was it a man or woman? All right, now when the HOA don't play, now down in Florida, a woman got arrested because, wait for it, her grass was browning. Her mailbox needed a wet wipe, and she had a work van in the driveway, all no-nos according to her homeowners association.
Move that van! Her HOA management company apparently ruling with an iron fist, hit her with a lawsuit, and a judge gave her 30 days to fix it. And she said she did. Van sold, mailbox scrubbed, lawn, seeds planted, watered it like it was the Garden of Eden. But the HOA-stricken homeowner missed her court date, and that's when things got really sticky.
Now get this, y'all. The woman said she never got a court notice in the mail and got the runaround when she called the courthouse. But still, she got hit with contempt of court and failure to comply. No bond, just bars, and she spent 7 whole days behind them over a patchy lawn and a dusty mailbox.
Oh, man. Okay, quick recap. Florida woman, HOA violations for dingy grass, dirty mailbox, and a work van, sued by the HOA. She was given 30 days to comply, claims that she fixed it all, missed the court date, and spent 7 days in the slammer for it.
Yeah, okay, yeah, contempt of court. So whose cousin is it, y'all? To me, it feels a little like other cousin.
Okay.
And it's something about the work van that's drawing me in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, independent business owner, or maybe on the flip side of it, like, maybe a relative left the van there.
Yeah.
And Hector was gonna come back and get it. He just didn't have time.
I really feel what you're putting down there. I do feel like it could be other cousin. I feel, this is gonna sound bad, I feel like my cousin might show up, flex the tears. I feel like she might like wrangle her way into some scenarios, like to put her in 7 days. Sometimes my cousin gets away with things that she shouldn't get away with.
Okay. The component for me was like the fact that this person thought they did everything that they were supposed to do and still like missed the court date because like sometimes people ain't from here, don't be reading all the fine print.
Other cousin, I'm with you.
Okay.
I would even say this Eastern cousin.
Oh, Eastern. Far Eastern?
Far Eastern cousin.
Well, let's see what's happening. 3, 2, 1.
Move that van!
Surprise.
Oh, Irina Green.
Irina.
She looked like she
did
got
all the
candy
things.
for all the kids.
Cleaned up the mailbox, got that van out of the driveway.
I could tell the way she dressed, she keep a Werther's Original in her bra.
She sure does. Everybody loves her in the neighborhood.
Man, don't do that though, Irina.
Wow.
Well, hey, listen, man.
Dang.
Don't get it right all the time. Sometimes we get it wrong too. So, solidarity.
Solidarity, Irina. I'm sorry they did this to you. You didn't deserve 7 days in jail for dingy lawn.
Yeah. Well, listen, we would have bailed you out.
Yeah, sure would have.
If you weren't out already.
Yep.
Well, anyway, we appreciate y'all rocking with us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Like, subscribe, share, tell others, as we always tell you.
Tell a phone, tell a friend, tell a frenemy. We got more side dish coming up later this week, and we'll see you guys later.
Peace and love.
Bye.
Man, over the...
Tisha Campbell says she's never been on a date. Tracy Ellis Ross's underwear has people talking. And find out how Tyler Perry dealt with a family member that didn't show up for work.
We got all that and more, plus actress, producer, host, and our friend Claudia Jordan is here to help keep us in line.
All right, I cannot wait to dive into all the mess.
Welcome to Side Dish.
There we go.
Man, back at it again, and listen, you already know the vibes. Here's Side Dish with more than an appetizer when it comes to pop culture and fun. We are the whole meal.
How's everybody doing tonight? How you guys feeling?
I'm happy to have my voice back.
Okay, yeah.
I'm good. I'm happy to be back with you guys and to
thank
dish.
you.
Yes, it's so fun.
You got like rapper voice.
I do have a really raspy voice my whole life. I used to rap back in the day, not like you though.
Okay, but I always felt like if you did decide to like lean all the way into it,